The Hadza people, also known as the Hadzabe or Hadza, are an indigenous ethnic group in Tanzania. They are traditionally hunter-gatherers, living in small groups in the Lake Eyasi region of Tanzania. The Hadza language is a click language and is considered one of the oldest languages still spoken today. The Hadza people have a unique culture and lifestyle based on hunting, gathering, and traditional ceremonies. The Hadza people communicate primarily through their spoken language, which is a click language known as Hadza or Hatsane. This language includes click sounds as part of its phonetic repertoire. In addition to verbal communication, the Hadza also use nonverbal forms of communication such as gestures, facial expressions, and body language. The Hadza have a rich oral tradition, and storytelling plays an important role in their culture, serving as a way to pass down knowledge, history, and traditions from one generation to the next. The Hadzabe Tribe, also known as the Hadzabe or Hadza people, are one of the last remaining hunter-gatherer tribes in Tanzania. They have a unique way of life that is largely based on hunting and gathering for sustenance. The Hadza live in small temporary camps and move frequently in search of food and resources. In terms of their social structure, the Hadza are egalitarian, with no centralized leadership or formal political system. They make decisions collectively through consensus and cooperation. Gender roles are relatively flexible within the Hadza community, with both men and women contributing to hunting, gathering, and child care. The Hadza have profound knowledge of their environment, including plants, animals, and natural resources. They have a deep connection to the land and follow sustainable practices in their hunting and gathering activities. The Hadza language, a click language, is an integral part of their cultural identity and heritage. Despite facing challenges such as encroachment on their land and changing social dynamics, the Hadza continue to maintain their traditional way of life and are an important cultural treasure in Tanzania.
Lake that lies at the bottom of the Great Rift Valley, south of the Serengeti Plains and southwest of the Ngorongoro crater. To include this region does mean a detour from the more traditional northern circuit safari, but if you have an interest in authentic, indigenous cultures, then the extra time is well spent. While Tanzania has over 120 tribes, merged to form Tanzanians speaking the official language of Swahili, many still maintain their own language and customs. One of the oldest and most traditional of these are the Hadzabe people. While there are only about 1,500 Hadzabe people living a traditional hunter-gatherer lifestyle, these people have been around the Lake Eyasi region for over 50,000 years. The Hadzabe live as simply as I've ever seen. Shelters are made from twigs and branches that are easily built within a couple of hours and left behind to naturally deteriorate when the time comes to move to a new location for fresh game. Possessions are nearly non-existent, and food is foraged and hunted for daily. They do not intermarry with other tribes and live communally in small family groups. Their tribal language includes the click sound, and they do not speak the common Swahili language. The few hours we spent with them was indeed a fascinating experience. The day started early, as even based at accommodation on the shores of Lake Eyasi, we were still a good hour drive from where the Hadzabe people were living. Their day starts early with a hunt, and we were to join them. When we arrived, the women were sitting around a small fire and the men were hanging out in another area preparing their arrows, smoking, and laughing a lot. Women and even children will also smoke tobacco and marijuana. And there were lots of dogs. Shortly after we arrived, we were off. We tagged along behind the men and boys, along with their pack of dogs, as they foraged through the bush at quite the pace. We had to walk and trot extremely fast to keep up. It wasn't too long before a bird was speared. A little further and they cornered a mongoose under a tree. It took a while to snag that one, but eventually they did, and we all returned to camp. I think, as we were a little pressed for time, that our guide asked them to show how they cook their food, and they planned to do more hunting after we left. That little mongoose was certainly not going to feed their village. Interesting part 2 of the process.